Center in Sacramento. And the Trailblazers, in that second half, they really started to pour it on after building a 9-point lead at halftime. In fact, it was Scoot Henderson who was able to finish off a 9-4.
Scoot, wide open three on the other end. Yes! 17 for Scoot Henderson, a game high. And it's 81-63.
And as the Blazers continue to push their lead out, a number of different guys got involved, including Delano Banton.
Walker on Keegan Murray. Double team. Passes up top for Banton. Ball fake. Open three. Yes. The Blazers running away with things here in the third quarter. They lead it 89-65. They're shooting 40% from three, 11 of 27, and everything is going their way.
And the Blazers really put the game away when they held the Kings scoreless for the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and you get back-to-back threes from Walker and Banton.
Ball fake back out to Walker. Walker launches a three, and that's good. Jabari Walker, 3 for 3 from distance. He's got 11 points, and it's 93-69. A nice effort by Jabari Walker from downtown tonight. There's a tip and a steal by Rupert. It's a 3-on-3. Rupert cross court to Banton for 3. Buries it. Delano Banton with another triple, and it's 96-69.
And finally, a little frosting on top of the cake provided by Donovan Clingan.
Banton up on the wing, gets the high screen, has the ball deflected, but it goes to Graham. Fires a pass to Clingan, and he dunks it in the face of Len. Devontae Graham made the heads-up play to tap past that to Clingan, who gets the 2. 100-69.
And the Blazers go on to win it by a final score of 105-85. Great effort from a number of guys, but like I said, Scoot Henderson, very impressive with just one turnover, and he poured in 17 points today for the Portland Trail Blazers. My apologies to the captain, Rich Patterson. I passed up on a Clingan block, which led to a Murray 3, but the Blazers, so many guys, Clingan, Scoot, you name it, Tamani Kamara, so many guys able to step up and get it done. Our next broadcast is going to come up on Wednesday, the Trailblazers and Ratio Farm at Moda Center. I'll have the pregame show at 6, tip-off at 7. Travis Demers will be on the call. Stay tuned. Coming up next on our flagship station here in Portland, 620 Rip City Radio, the discussion around your team continues. Chris Burkhardt has the fifth quarter. Final score today from the Golden One Center in Sacramento. Your Portland Trailblazers topped the Sacramento Kings by a final score of 105-85. For the captain, Rich Patterson, I'm Chad Doing. Enjoy your Sunday evening. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
You've been listening to the Trailblazers postgame show on the Trailblazers Audio Network.
This has been Portland Trailblazers basketball. Wherever you may be, good night, everybody.
Clingan now top of the key, 4 to shoot. Murray, 3 to shoot. He drives 2, high off the glass. No. Clingan offensive board, and the putback is in. Banton holds the ball near midcourt. Ellis in front of him as he spied Jabari Walker from downtown tonight. There's a tip and a steal by Rupert. It's a 3-on-3. Rupert cross court to Banton for 3. Buries it. Delano Banton with another triple, and it's 96-69.
Welcome into the fifth quarter. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt, and we get to break down the first preseason victory for your Portland Trailblazers tonight as they take down the Sacramento Kings 105-85 down in the California capital. I again am Chris Burkhardt. You follow me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can chime in there and send me your questions and comments. You can go on to youtube.com, type in Roof City Radio. Join the conversation there, or, of course, pick up those phones. 503-248-0620 is the telephone number if you want to get on and talk about this Blazer victory. It is a good one. The Blazers did look much better than they did on Friday night against the Clippers. A little bit of, nice little travel down south. Get the not the monkey off your back, but the rust off, right? When you go and play the Clippers, and then you come into this one and you get going right out of the jump. Thought it was a really good overall game from the Blazers. They started in this one down 9-3, right? Real quick, real early. It's like, okay, Kings are going to get out. They're going to get out in space. They're going to get out and run. How can the Blazers answer? And the Blazers answered quite well. They are able to take those body shots from the Kings, land some of their own, ended the first quarter on a 7-0 run, and they only trailed by 2. It was 27-25 after the first quarter. Then in the second quarter, they outscored the Kings 35-24, took a 60-51 lead into the halftime locker room. The third quarter was another massive one for the Blazers, outscoring the Kings 30-18. And at that point, it was a 90-69 game as they headed into the fourth, right? Now, fourth quarter was pretty low scoring all the way around. The Kings won that one 16-15. But you love to see that the Blazers were out there not only answering the quick early run there by the Kings, but getting out, getting the offense flowing, looking overall a little bit better, right? I think you can take that after this one. You look at the starting lineup, it was Denny Advia, Jeremy Grant, DeAndre Ayton, and Scoot Henderson, and Toumani Camara as your starters in this one. Denny Advia in his first Blazer game, first preseason game, remember, it doesn't count yet until you get to that home opener against the Warriors. But he played 20 minutes. He had 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Jeremy Grant played 16 minutes. DeAndre Ayton played 17, basically just first half, and then get a little bit of a rest. But DeAndre Ayton was a little more involved, 5 of 8 shooting, 11 points, 8 rebounds. Jeremy Grant had 9 points. Toumani Camara, another solid performance from him, 13 points. They did have 4 fouls, but you know what? That's okay. But I do like the aggressiveness, and seeing him get going offensively is definitely a sight for sore eyes, because that's where he needs to improve the most, and he's definitely showing those improvements right now. And then off the bench, you had Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert putting in 20-plus minutes. Delano Banton had 17 minutes, 12 points, 2 assists, 11 points from Jabari Walker. I think a lot of eyes, though, were on Donovan Clingan. 17 minutes, 52 seconds in this one. So let's say 18 minutes of action, 5 of 9 from the floor. Didn't hit a three-pointer in this one, but he had 10 rebounds, 10 points, 2 block shots. And again, once again, showed that he's just a mountain of a man on the NBA court right now, because I can't remember who it was who tweeted it. It may have been Dan Morang or Sean Hyken tweeting about how he is an absolute giant, and he's making a fellow giant in Alex Len look small. Like, that's just how big Donovan Clingan is. And so Blazers definitely enjoy having that between him and Reith and Ayton and Robert Williams when he's healthy. They got a lot of size now. They're no longer a small team. So it's good to see him out there looking good. He's looking good. I know he said after the first game, it's a more physical game. He didn't feel tired. He looked tired at times. But once he adjusts to that physicality, gets his lungs about him, man, I think he's going to find ways to make an impact. Also, Scoot Henderson, he had 25 minutes in this one, 17 points, 7 assists, just 1 turnover. The shooting, though, still not where you'd want it to be. He was 5 of 13 overall, 1 of 3 from 3, excuse me. And the shooting you want to get up, right? You'd like, if he's going to take 13 shots, maybe he's making 7 or 8 of them. That'd be kind of nice. But I think the biggest takeaway for Scoot in this one is, again, it's really easy to look at the points and the shooting being off, but 7 assists and just 1 turnover. Remember, against the Clippers, it was the other way around. It was 3 assists and like 8 turnovers, right? And that is not where you want your assist to turnover ratio. So to go in there, get assists in this one, and be a lot more careful with how you handle the ball, where the passes are going, and who you're getting those passes to, that's what you love to see from Scoot. The shooting part, I think that part will balance itself out in the long run. But a point guard, you got to be able to not only find the open guys and get those assists, but you want to keep those turnover numbers down. So I thought that was an overall good bounce back performance from Scoot Henderson. On the Kings side of things, DeMar DeRozan had 8 points. Keegan Murray had 10, 9 points from Domantas Sabonis. Keon Ellis had 11, as did De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk with 8. Alex Len with 13. And then another 10 from Jordan McLaughlin. Overall, though, Blazers, I thought they played a pretty good game. This is exactly what you wanted to see. Come out, bounce back from that game against the Clippers. Show us you're looking a little bit different. The biggest lead of the night for the Blazers, 33 points, 4 lead changes in this one. Again, I just like the bounce back. That's what you like to see in these early preseason games. Learn from something. Also of note, Coach Billups wasn't there tonight. He was in Springfield, Massachusetts, getting inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So Nate Burkhardt, assistant coach, filled in his absence. Did a pretty good job tonight. I think you can enjoy that one. Nice to get a little preseason win under the cap for Nate. Total rebounds in this one, Blazers 47, Kings 46. Pretty even all the way around on the offensive and defensive side. The assist numbers 23-25 in favor of Sacramento. Pretty even numbers as you go through them, but the biggest difference in this one really is the Blazers, not only their defense, but the three-point shooting. 14 made three-pointers compared to just 5 from Sacramento. That will definitely buoy things out in your favors because math tells me a three-pointer is worth more than a two-pointer, right? It absolutely is. So good job for the Portland Trail Blazers bouncing back in this one. If you want to get in on the conversation, grab the telephone. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. You can also jump on YouTube, get your comments there, or hit me up on Twitter. For those of you waiting, let's do it. Let's head out to the phone lines where George in Portland wants to talk about the NBA lottery, and he sounds like he might have an idea on how to end tanking. George, what do you got for us?
Yes, I would do away with tanking in the NBA. I totally dislike that a team has an incentive to lose. So what I would do is that I would turn the first round into a true lottery. In the NBA, each team would have one ping pong ball. They would all be weighted equally, and I would do it in reverse order. The first ping pong ball that came out would get the 30th pick, and the last ping pong ball would get the first pick. So it would be totally dumb luck as to where you pick in the draft, and there would be no incentive to tanking whatsoever.
Okay, I get what you're laying down. But what happens then in this? So you're then okay? You're saying all 30 teams in on this, or just because then you're telling me
all 30
that
teams.
So that when Denver goes and wins an NBA championship, they can get the first pick too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I get what you're laying down. I don't know if I agree with it, but you know what? I like thinking outside the box, George. That's how change happens. That's how things get done.
Yeah, because as it is now, you have teams of wondering whether they should get in the playoffs or not get in the playoffs. That would be eliminated because there would be no advantage as to whether you were in the playoffs or not in the playoffs as to where you were picking. And there would be absolutely no advantage to lose because it's not going to help you get a higher pick.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're laying down. I think I can roll with it. I appreciate your call. I don't like the fact that the best teams get in on the lottery, but I do like the fact that it's weighed just a little more evenly. But there's so many other questions there. You almost got to go like the NFL does it. Like there's no lottery, right? The worst team is the worst. Oh, you had the worst record. Guess what? You get the first pick. And I think that works out for them. Sometimes I love the idea of relegation and promotion that the English Premier League has and soccer leagues around the world, right? Where if you're really, really bad, guess what? You get demoted. That's your incentive to not tank. You can't afford it because now you go down a league and you don't get as much revenue and it hurts your franchise in the long run. That one works too. But you're absolutely right, George, in the fact that there needs to be some sort of change, right? Because I am with you. I hate the idea of tanking. I do not like it. This whole okay, we want to get into the lottery, so we're going to try to lose games on purpose. Or, well, we're not actually actively losing on purpose, but all our best players happen to be injured and they're going to sit out and we're playing a bunch of two-way guys. I don't like that at all, George. I don't like it at all. So like I said, I don't know if I agree with your change, but I like it because whatever is an idea that might stop teams from tanking is something I might be able to get on board with, my friend. So thanks for the call. If you got any other comments you guys want to chime in with, you know what to do. 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter at Chris J. Burkhardt or get on YouTube, get into the comment section. Tell us how you're feeling about this one. We'll take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, Michael Shacker is going to give us our shot of the night. He has it potted up and ready to go. He's so eager to push the buttons. It's all coming up here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Scoot, wide open three on the other end. Yes! 17 for Scoot Henderson, a game high, and it's 81-63.
There was your shot of the night. It was beautiful. It was great. And back to the conversation. Kirk's lighting it up in the chat, talking about that, the problem being free agency and how Georgia's plan could kill small markets. All right. And I get that. The idea of no lottery would hurt absolutely. If the rich got richer, that would be painful. And free agency is interesting too. I do think they've done a good job with changes in the CBA over the years to incentivize players to stay with a team for financial reasons, right? To make more money by remaining with the team that they're on, right? Getting the 5th year and the Supermax and all that stuff. That has helped. I do think the idea of the big markets getting all the free agents is completely overblown. Like, if that were the case, then New York and LA and Dallas and Chicago would be getting every single free agent ever. And Chicago hasn't had a good, run of luck in the last few years. The Knicks are starting to come back, but how many championships they got in the last, 3 decades, right? LA comes and goes. I mean, they got LeBron, but they've been active in the trade markets too. So it's all about getting your ownership and your general manager and everything lined up properly to get things going. I mean, look at the run San Antonio went on. A great run of success with Pop, and that was all through the draft, right? Getting Tim Duncan, and then you got Kawhi Leonard. Tony Parker was great. Manu Ginobili was one of the greatest 6 men of all time. You had the Admiral at the tail end there. He was still just pretty darn good. So I think free agency helps. It allows that movement, but then you just got to have everything else work together within that so that your team is, desirable for those free agents to want to go to. I like that player movement, but I also do. Again, I wish there was ways to incentivize even a little bit more to help build those teams up, build those dynasties, and have guys on your roster forever. I mean, I know they played in different places, but you look like the 90s Blazers, man. It just felt like that team was like the Blazers. Like Terry Porter, Clyde, like it feels like they never wore another jersey. I know the whole Clyde Houston thing, but you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like they were Blazers. The turnover part starts to suck after a while. That's why Dame hurt, because he was here for so long, right? And then you get the turnover and you're just like, what? No, like, where am I? What's going on? And you need things to strike too. I mean, how different is history if, Greg Oden's not hurt? How different is history if West doesn't blow his Achilles? That team was on a tear, right? That changes a lot. It absolutely changes a lot. So these are the things that come into play here. And I don't know what the change is for tanking, though, Kirk and George. That's for sure. Because there is a lot of moving parts. The whole tanking thing just sucks. Again, I don't know how you fix it. Ideas are welcome on the table, though. Start getting those ideas flowing, and then you start talking. That's where you maybe find the answer. But they're trying. They're trying. Oh, now it's Wade and this and that, and I don't know. It's just the idea of putting out a inferior product with the hopes of losing games is just weird to me. I'll never be able to wrap my head around it. I also don't think it's good for your culture. I think you want to put your best foot forward. If you don't win games, whatever, but at least you're not actively ruining things in the process. Going back to the chat, got one comment here. I love Klingon. I think Klingon is very quickly becoming a Blazer fan favorite, because one thing about Blazer fans that I've always noticed is boy howdy do Blazer fans cling, no pun intended, to their rookies, right? Like when you get a rookie in here, oh my gosh, Blazer fans, you think they're the best thing since sliced bread, even if you've never seen them play a single minute in their life and they haven't played a single minute all season. You think they're the best thing and you root for them just until the cows come home, right? Last Ryan Rupert, love the guy. He's the best. He needs to get on the floor. A couple years ago, y'all fell in love with Greg Brown, Trendon Watford. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I love it. That's your fandom, man. That is our guy. I'm going to root for him because I want him to do well, because if he does well, then my fan excitement, it goes through the roof. So fans are definitely clinging, and I absolutely get it because, boy, he's something else. He's a giant. Like, he makes the big guys look small, which is pretty crazy to me. And the way he moves, I think he moves almost bigger than he is. Like, he makes himself bigger. He makes himself a wall. He makes himself hard to score around. And as he starts to get his footing and really start to sink his teeth into being an NBA basketball player, I think he can be a really, really good center in this league. And then you got to get Shea and Scooten, who, however you decide to build your team with him in mind, you got to get those offensive weapons, because I think Klingon he's going to find ways to impact games on the offensive side of the ball, but he has the defensive mentality that can win you championships. Like, he can be a defense first guy that you can build around as long as you got the weapons around him. I mean, will he have the nights where he goes off and gets you 20 points? I'm sure he will. It's just not his calling card. His calling card is going to be cleaning the glass and getting a hand in your face every time you go to shoot and blocking shots. And as he learns, too, you heard after the first game with Chauncey Billups telling him, he had situations late in the game where his hands were low because he was looking for a steal. Put your hands up, get a block. That's what you're here for, block shots. And I want to see it. I want to see him just go ham and just block shots like crazy. Maybe set a couple Trailblazers records along the way. All right, let's head back out to the phones where, this guy, he latched on to Chad, and now he's crazy, and he calls from, all the way across the country. It's Joe in Buffalo. Joe, how we doing?
Yes, YES. Welcome back, everybody. What's up, Portland? What's up, Rip City? What's up, Chris? How's it going, my friend?
Oh, it's going well here because, the basketball season's revving up, and we're about to get going on this 82-game journey together, Joe.
That's right. I'm ready. I think I'm I'm more experienced this year myself. This is technically my sophomore year, and I think I'm ready to actually, be a part of Rip City instead of just kind of like just an observer, just a healthy observer, you know what I mean? So with that, I have a bit of a two-parter thing. So I love that you guys are talking about the tank because I have a question about it. When we were during the off season, I talked to Chad because I saw that I saw a couple articles saying that pretty much everyone's on, not everyone, but most of the guys are on the trade block. And I was very concerned about like Ayton and Grant. And so he said, well, what the goal is we're trying to essentially tank for Flag. Now, is that still like, I think we're ready. I think this team has enough talent with the size, the depth, the speed. I think we could win now, in my opinion. I am new to this. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that most accounts we're getting from the Trailblazers and people in the know is that the draft is deep and there's guys that they like, and Cooper Flag is one of them. I think every single team in the NBA likes him, and I think the Blazers think that he could help them get further down the road in the long run with the timelines of all their young guys, etc. And so, yeah, I think that even though the team has talent on paper, and I think they do, like I look at a starting lineup, Joe, of Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, Denny Advia, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton, and go, that's a team that can win games. But the long-term sustainability of that and where they want to go with the rest of their youth, I still think there's avenues for those guys like Grant and Ayton to be moved on to get some assets so they can continue to build through the draft and get some more young talent in here.
Okay, that's a good point. And I'm glad you brought up Ayton. So my next part was, so say Klingon, he looks great. You said too when he'll get better when he finds his footing. 10 rebounds is 10 rebounds. That's awesome.
Yep.
Do you see a lineup with him and Ayton in it? And if that is the case, who moves the power forward?
I see a lineup with him and Ayton in it for spurts, like maybe a couple minutes per game. I don't necessarily see a lineup of those two long term, just because offensively, I absolutely think DeAndre Ayton can play power forward because the way he has that old school mid range game, put his back to the basket. It's akin to what like LaMarcus Aldridge was able to do when he was a power forward here. Defensively, though, he's a center. He's going to struggle when you put him out deep and he has to guard those stretch fours, right? And Klingon even more so struggles to guard those guys out. Those two are two guys that want to stay next to the paint. So I don't think you can have them on the floor at the same time for long spurts because you're going to give up 3-pointers in the long run.
That makes sense. Because you want to put your best guys out there, that as often as you can together. But that's where I was kind of getting mixed up with this. It's like, okay, well, and you don't want to you can't give everybody the clock or the minutes, but you gotta So that's why I was kind of confused. How do we go about that going forward? So I guess I see too kind of now. This is kind of answering my question about why we would reach or why we would move on from Ayton and Grant and stuff when we're already talking about giving the minutes to Klingon and stuff. So, and if we do get flagged, do you think Klingon is still in the picture, or is that what this season's all about? Kind of, you know what I mean? So, do you think that's kind of a big maybe? But we're in the preseason, we can ask these questions.
Well,
you know what I mean? But so if we move on from Ayton, do you think Klingon and Flag would be? Is that
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're looking at Cooper Flag being a small forward. So he's the forward who can go score. He can play that 4 for you in the NBA too, with how that position has evolved. He's not going to be your 7-foot defensive guy. He's going to be an offensive weapon, absolutely. And it's kind of like I said earlier, Joe, is if you decide to build around Klingon, which I think they love this guy, you got to get offensive weapons around him, because he's not going to be your 20 and 10 every single night guy. He might have 20 and 10 with 20 rebounds and 10 blocks, right? But the points are going to come in spurts. So you need those offensive guys around him, and that's what Cooper Flag is. And he's super, super versatile. He's going to have the ability with whoever is fortunate enough to draft him to play him at multiple positions, because he's going to be able to play him offensively and guard him defensively, which is incredible and versatile, which makes him very, very special.
Okay, that makes sense. I apparently gotta do some scouting homework, so I will get better for the next phone call. And but listen, I'm glad that basketball's back. I'm good to hear your voice, and it's good. It's good to get a win tonight. That was awesome, and I hope everybody's optimistic out there, regardless how we plan on going forward. But I'm excited, man, and thank you for taking my call, brother. And when's the next game? Is it tomorrow?
Got one on Wednesday, my friend. Math tells me, Joe, today is Sunday. That means you have about 3 days worth of studying to do. You can count Wednesday as a whole day, right? Because fifth quarter is not going to be till 10 o'clock at night. So you got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Start buffing up on your potential rookies heading into the draft. Or you can just do what I do, and that is do all your research at the end of the season when it really matters and you need to know who's in the draft anyway. But Cooper Flag, very good. Going to be very good. All right, we're going to take a break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, we're going to give you our drive of the night, and I got some game balls to pass out. No Coach's Corner tonight. We don't have coach audio, but that's okay. That's because Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups was out in Springfield today getting inducted into the NBA Hall, or Basketball Hall of Fame, excuse me, not the NBA Hall of Fame, because, basketball's weird and all Basketball Hall of Fame. Good for him. So no coach audio tonight, but the drive of the night's coming up next on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
Banton up on the wing, gets the high screen, has the ball deflected, but it goes to Graham, fires a pass to Klingon, and he dunks it in on the face of Len. Devontae Graham made the heads-up play to tap past that to Klingon, who gets the 2. 100-69.
See, this was the one, Shacker. I was like, this 7 dust, right? And Mike Oakes had no idea. He just messaged me. I was like, he's like, you're calling me up, but I have no idea. I didn't make that. That's embedded into the read. I'm like, oh, all right. Makes sense to me. All right. That was your drive of the night, though, but we can still got at least one more little segment to do. It's time to hand out our game ball. Well, look at that. He said game balls. So I don't have to hand out just one. So I'm going to hand out one game ball to Scoot Henderson. Why am I going to hand it to Scoot Henderson? Because I like the bounce back performance he had the night. The shooting was still a little bit off, right? We want that to be better. 5 of 13. Nah, don't like that so much. But what I do love is 7 assists and only 1 turnover after he had many, many turnovers against the Clippers and looked a little lethargic. Love the bounce back there from Scoot. Another game ball is going to a guy who wasn't at the game or involved in the game, and that is Coach Billups, becoming a certified legend, being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. That is absolutely incredible. That's where he was tonight. He wasn't with the team. He wasn't coaching. He was out in Springfield, Massachusetts at the ceremony giving a speech. That's absolutely phenomenal. So kudos to Coach Billups. He gets another game ball. 2 game balls. Maybe during the regular season I'll hand out 3, but you get 2 of them today in the preseason. So shout out to Hall of Fame NBA basketball player Chauncey Billups and Scoot Henderson, who had a bounce back performance. Now, if we can just get Scoot to get those shooting numbers up and a little more consistent, I'll be really excited. All right, that's going to do it for the 5th quarter here tonight. Short and sweet, as is the preseason. They're halfway done. That's right. Your Blazers